Howdy. Today we're doing a video on a weapon that is not good. It's bad. But I wanted to do one anyways because there's not very many videos on YouTube about the weapon. And so I think it's going to be nice to just get more information on it out there. It is the Embolist, a flamethrower type weapon similar to the Ignis, except it shoots gas and it's an infested weapon and it is in the secondary slot. It is unfortunately really, really bad, but I actually really like it. So let's get right into the build for it. So as you can see, it has Toxinet base, fire rate of 8, okay magazine size at 33, and just absolutely abysmal crit stats. 3% base crit chance and a 1.5 crit multiplier, but extremely high status chance. Now, first of all, we need to get through the biggest problem here, okay? The biggest problem Embolist has is not its horrible crit chance and crit damage. It's not its questionable base damage. Its biggest problem is the consistency with it because of how it works. It's a flamethrower weapon, right? Like Ignis, but unlike Ignis, it has almost no range. It has very, very little range. So let's say we mark this guy right here, okay? 10 meters, we can hit him from here. If we back up to, say, 12 meters, even 12 meters, we can't hit him. That's depressing. Now, you might say, oh, well, just put on Ruinous Reach because that gives more range. Yes, we can put on a Ruinous Reach, but then you're going to see that we have another problem. Plus 8 meter beam length. Okay. Well, now we should be able to hit up to what? I think the base range is like 10 meters, so now it's 18. You can see, we fire, right? Can you see what's happening? Hopefully. We shoot, and it's not immediate, right? It's sort of like a projectile. It has travel time, but it's extremely slow. Now, it's hard to tell in the simulacrum, but in gameplay, you are going to feel that a lot. It is going to feel terrible. At times, it will feel like you can't hit your enemies. It is just depressing. Now, in the case of body punch through, it also doesn't have any. So the Ignis has infinite body punch through, so it can go through as many enemies in a crowd as possible. The Embolist does not. It hits one enemy, and that's it. You're done. Those two things right there are a big, big, big problem. That you can make the weapon do enough damage to kill, but those things make this weapon really, really annoying to play with. That being said, I still put 9 Forma on it because I forgot my medication and I need help. Please send help. So we have Cascadia Flare here. We're going with a heat viral build. Pathogen rounds, amalgam barrel diffusion. Actually, while I prefer this, in the case of Embolist, you need as much damage as you can possibly get, so galvanized diffusion would definitely be the better option here. Galvanized shots, because that does work on this weapon. It is not multiplicative, though. It is additive, sad face. It might not be the best option here because we already have a ton of damage from Cascadia Flare, but it will just be more damage, and it also gives status chance, which is nice. Then we obviously have Pistol Pestilence Frostbite for the viral, Primed Heated Charge, and Scorch, so we get big heat procs and also higher chance for heat of proccing. And then Fire Rate Multi-Shot from Lethal Torrents. Actually, you might be better off running unranked Frostbite so that you get less viral procs. Though I don't have an unranked. Here, we have an unranked Pistol Pestilence. There, that lowers the chance, though it's still decently high, right? It's higher than our heat procs, which is a sad face, but we can't do too much about that. So first we'll show the weapon, just like the... Oh, wait, actually, I forgot something on this weapon, which is normally... Actually, oh, you know what? That's why we have such massive chance for that. So it's because I had pathogen rounds on. Now, the best thing to do on this weapon for crits would be to put on Primed Target Cracker. But if you go with Primed Target Cracker, you're going to need crit chance from somewhere. And that is why you would take in, what's it called? Arcane Avenger. Arcane Avenger would be a great option here. So right now we're actually going to put Seeker on instead, and now our viral is lower than our heat chance, and we have punch through. So this will be no crits on the weapon whatsoever. This is just the weapon and its stats effects. We are going to need a kill to proc Galvanized Shot, but that won't have that big of an impact on damage. These are armored enemies though, so keep that in mind, right? Like this is against an enemy that's armored, which means it's doing much less damage than it should. Because normally you want armor strip when you're going like viral heats. But as you can see, it is not as bad as you would think, right? Considering how terrible its stats are. It's usable. It can do damage. But not a whole lot as is. So we need crits. If we want really big damage, we really need crits. And armor stripping would help a lot. So a great frame for doing that would actually be Hildren, my muscle mommy. Now, if we're going to go Hildren, we're going to switch to this build right here. This build is actually my build made for Balefire with Larva, but we're not using it for Larva. We're just using it because Pillage can't... Actually, wait, I can't full strip with this build because I don't have Cross Projection. Okay, never mind. We're going to be using my Void Cascade build. Pillage because we can full strip with Curse Projection at 328 strength, and Arcane Avenger so that we can proc it for bonus crit chance. Now, since we don't have Combat Discipline on, we are going to need the enemies attacking us. Actually, before I do that, there's another thing we can add in. Slap on Carrier Prime, put on a weapon that has higher than 50% crit chance after putting mods on, such as Volcax or Volclock, and use Tenacious Bond for another 1.2 final crit damage multiplier. That will help a lot as far as damage goes. And on top of that, we have Reinforced Bond, because we're using Carrier. We get enough shields if we switched out Vitality for Redirection. And now we will get an extra 60% fire rates on our weapon, which is going to be very, very nice. Why do I... Oh, because we're on Carrier, duh. Wait, not Carrier. I take that back. Worm Prime is what I meant. Okay, Worm, there we go. Get the extra fire rate, and we get the Tenacious Bond for extra crit damage. So now we come back to this build, and we are going to want to switch out for crit damage now instead, okay? So this will increase our damage by a fair bit, right? You can see with Tenacious Bond, we're seeing at 2.7, but then with Prime Target Cracker, gotta go back in, it goes up to 4.3. Not a huge increase, but it's good enough because it's going to be a nice damage increase at some level. We do lose some multi-shot and fire rates, sad face, but it's not the end of the world. We still have enough to get by. You could actually get rid of Galvanized Shot here and put on Lethal Torrents instead, and that might be higher damage actually, so maybe I'll do that. And now we'll come back over here and find a Pistol Pestilence that is unranked again. Yes, here we go. Okay, so now we got a crit build going on, and we still have Viral Heat. And we have Arcane Avenger, so that we actually get crit chance, and we can armor strip, and we got even more crit from our pets. So we will unpause the AI. I don't know if I can proc Arcane Avenger while I have Insubit. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, so let's go ahead and start shooting the enemy. As you can see, it's already doing much more damage now that we can get crits. We actually don't have Tenacious Bond anymore, the 1.2 crit multiplier, because our Worm Prime died, which is sad. If he doesn't stay alive, we actually don't get it. So we're doing less damage now than we were at first. But it does enough damage to kill, which is surprising for how terrible the Embolist is. And then if we armor strip, now it's actually going to kill extremely fast, right? Because we were killing while they had armor, which isn't really fair for a weapon that's a viral heat build. It can kill. The whole point of this video is to show that you can make this weapon work if you really want to. Is it recommended? Probably not. But is it doable? Yes. I would not take this into an endurance run, and definitely not a level cap. I think if you have a weapon buffing frame like Mirage, then yeah, of course you can take it because you're going to get such insane buffs it'll kill anything. But that can be said about any weapon, so there isn't really much point to doing that. But For anything under level 500 Steel Path, if you are running Arcane Avenger like this in a crit build, it should be able to kill with Armor Strip, right? It should be able to melt enemies under level 500. So it's a fun weapon. It's a beam flamethrower weapon, except it shoots gas. I hope it gets an Incarnon. That would be cool, or a buff, or a better version maybe if we get once we get infested liches. One can only hope. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Embolist. Actually, wait, no, that's not it for the video. I forgot. Something to mention. Oh shit, I don't have it. So there is an augment for the Embolist that came from Nightwave that makes it so you can shoot out a little spore sack. You build up damage from shooting, and then when you reload, I think, or alt fire, you throw the little sack. That's terrible. Never use it. Holy shit, it needs buffed. It is unaffected by any mods. It's just flat damage, so you're not going to be able to kill anything with that. There is, I believe, MC Gamers did a video on it, or someone did a video on it on YouTube, and they showed it not even being able to kill like level 15 butchers on non-steel path. That's pretty rough. So please don't use the augment. It's bad. It needs reworked. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. So here is the Hildren fashion, in case you're wondering. Show the front sigil. Yeah, if you enjoyed, then maybe leave a like or subscribe. If you didn't, then dislike the video. Thanks for watching. Adios.